Hello, everyone. My name is Allison Fitzhugh, and today I will be presenting a lesson on active listening and how to enhance active listening skills for more meaningful conversation. I hope everyone's doing good today. I would like to start off by asking everybody to kind of create a definition of what active listening is to them in their head before we start. So I'll give you guys a few seconds to kind of think about that. So the definition, according to Indeed Career Guide, the definition of active listening is the ability to focus completely on a speaker, understand their message, comprehend the information, and respond thoughtfully. Active listening is the ability to identify both verbal and nonverbal cues when communicating in interpersonal settings. By enhancing your active listening skills, you will be able to retain a speaker's message more effectively and remember intricate details of what is being communicated. And active listening shifts the focus on listening for the sake of understanding rather than listening with the purpose of crafting a response. I know even for me personally, I'm guilty of this. When I'm having a conversation, I will listen and be thinking of a response instead of giving my full attention to what someone is saying. I think that's very important. So our training objective for this lesson, I want each of you to be able to define what active listening is and describe traits of active listening in interpersonal settings. I want you guys to know techniques and little details about active listening and how to just enhance your interpersonal conversations. It goes a long way. It really, really does. What is active listening? Active listening is all about reaching mutual understanding when communicating in an interpersonal setting. And active listening shows the speaker that you are fully engaged through body language, whether it's eye contact, looking at them the whole time, nodding your head, facial expressions, it doesn't matter. Body language is a big part of active listening. Active listening is the ability to focus entirely on what the speaker is saying and understanding their perspective rather than, again, trying to come up with a clever response. And active listening requires complete focus on the conversation at hand and not allowing distractions or wandering thoughts to prevent the listener from comprehending what is being said. Again, this is something I am guilty of too. When someone's talking, I'll be hearing another conversation. I'll have a lot on my mind during the day, and it's very important just to drop those distracting thoughts before entering a conversation, because we want to be treated how we would want people to treat us. And when you're talking to someone and you know they're not paying attention, they're looking off, it can be insulting and come off as disrespectful. So it's very important just to show whoever you're talking to that you are fully engaged, invested, and committed to understanding their perspective or what they're trying to communicate. And how can we be an active listener? What's the best way to be an active listener? Here are a few tips that I personally find the most effective. Making eye contact throughout the conversation so the speaker knows you're paying attention. So important. Don't allow your mind to wander throughout the conversation and focus on the speaker's body language. Notice if they seem engaged in what they're saying. Usually when someone's really invested, they'll use hand gestures. You'll see their facial expressions, the distance they're standing from you. Body language is a huge part of active listening. Show signs you are listening, such as nodding your head, vibrant facial expressions, and provide small verbal responses to confirm you're retaining the information being presented, such as if someone says something like, oh yeah, okay, just small little things to throw in there that kind of just confirm, because sometimes if you don't respond for long periods of time, someone's like, are you even retaining what I'm saying? And half of active listening is how we respond to what is being said to us. So for me, when responding, you can paraphrase, what was said and mention specific details. If you need clarification, do not be afraid to ask for clarification. So a good way to be is like, I like what you said about XYZ, or, summarize what they said before responding so it shows kind of an invisible bullet point of, okay, here's what you said, And like I said, if you have questions about something that's being said or you don't understand something, be honest and ask for clarification. I think a lot of us do not do that. I know, again, me, I'm definitely working on my active listening skills, but asking questions, clarity, whatever's being said, just kind of shows that you are invested in understanding what this person is saying. And a very important point is never interrupt someone when they're speaking, even if you do have a question. If you have a question, let them finish their thought and complete it. Interrupting is just kind of shows that you're waiting to respond. Again, listening for the sake of a response rather than for the sake of absorbing the information. And when you craft a response, again, be honest and give your opinions. If you have an opinion on the matter, give it in a way that is tasteful and respectful. Again, when someone asks for your opinion, you want the same respect you would hope to receive to be given back to you. I think it's really important for that. Especially when it's a personal topic. Like, again, active listening is a big part of interpersonal communication. So it's just good to be respectful and honest and just the way you approach the situation. We will be completing an exercise, that is a small survey that kind of just helps us assess where we are in our active listening development. I will read off the questions and just give you guys a good idea of what is going to be asked, and you guys can grade yourselves honestly. There's no wrong or right answers. Active listening is something that I've been working on. So some of us might be pros at it, some of us might need improvement, and some of us might need, to just incorporate all these skills. But the first question is, when having an interpersonal conversation, I look at the speaker and make eye contact. Number 2, my mind is focused on the conversation at hand and not wandering off. Number 3, I reiterate important points and small details of the conversation when responding. Number 4, I pay attention to body language and nonverbal cues during a conversation. Number 5, when giving my opinion, I do so in a respectful manner. Number 6, I never interrupt when someone else is speaking. 7, I listen with the intent to understand rather than listen to respond. Number 8, I use facial expressions and body gestures to display responsiveness. And finally, number 10, I understand the concept of active listening. Again, we'll be going through these on a scale of 1 as never, 2 occasionally, and 3 frequently. And we can all just take the time to assess that. And finally, just kind of summarizing everything and bringing the point home, I would like to mention, active listening is an essential skill to enhance communication. We need to incorporate these techniques to be a good listener. Some of us, sometimes I think I'm a good listener, and then someone asks me a question, I don't remember specific details, I leave out important points, and it really goes a long way to remember those things and to put your mind aside when you're doing this. Like I said, avoiding distraction and giving a speaker your undivided attention is key to understanding their perspective. Communicating should not be about who's right, who's wrong, who's making this point, who's that point. It's really about understanding each other, someone else's perspective on a topic that might not make sense to you. But again, we would communicate in ways that we would want to be communicated to, and communication is just as important as listening. Everyone says communication is key, but comprehension is key, and I'll live by that rule. And interpersonal communication is when active listening skills become essential. It is very, like I said, in a group setting, it's a lot easier to, or a big group setting, a lecture setting, it's a lot easier to brush off these skills, but definitely in interpersonal communication, active listening is number 1. And incorporating these techniques into your personal conversations will enhance your understanding of the other person's points and lead to more meaningful interpersonal communication. Like I said, listening to people, understanding really can just make the difference of the world. It means a lot to the person you're communicating to. I just wish that we would incorporate these skills a little bit more, and I think it's one of the best ways to enhance our listening skills. enhance our conversations. We always want our conversations to be more meaningful and show people that we care about respect, or even if it's someone that you're just meeting. I know for me, whenever somebody asks me a question, or if I remember an important little detail that they mentioned to me, they're so shocked. It means a lot more to them than anything else, because a lot of people don't really pay attention to these things. So I hope this helps you guys, and we will open the floor for discussion. We'll have a discussion chat about what we got out of this lesson, and kind of what skills we need to develop, and what the most important details of active listening is. Thank you for attending my lesson.